right, guys, welcome back. Thank you all for being here. And today we got a very patient, a very patient guest tonight that has worked with me around all of my issues. And so I want to present Paul with Taconic Distilling.
Yep. Thank you.
So how's it going, man?
It's good. I'll give you a little brief history
Okay.
about myself and the distillery and what we're up to. We are beginning our 10th year this year.
Okay.
So there's a good survivor bias in this business of staying in the fight every day. This is a second career for me. My background was working in the investment business on Wall Street for 30 plus years. I am married. I've got 3 grown daughters. We raised our kids in Greenwich, Connecticut. About 14 years ago, we bought a 120-acre farm, an old beef farm up in the Millbrook, New York area, kind of the Hudson Valley. We're about 90 miles north of New York City, so it's not the boonies, but it's still very, very rural, and which is very, very nice.
Yeah.
Whiskey had nothing to do with me buying this property. After about 2 or 3 years, we had all the space, and I said to my wife, and she said to me, we need to do something with all this property. We just can't leave it. And we thought about doing animals, horses, cows, this and that. For whatever reason, started growing corn for some agricultural guys. One thing led to another. We got into the whiskey business in 2014.
Okay.
At that, we definitely we were not early on the wave, but certainly got it and been riding it ever since. We're in, I don't know, we got as high as maybe 30 states. We keep kind of backing it down to focus on our core states. Got caught up growing too fast, Colorado, California, Oregon, states that are, listen, it's great to be in them, but it's kind of a one and done thing. We'd much rather focus on the East Coast. So that's where we are. We're 10 years in. I think we're the biggest bourbon distiller in New York State. We do our own products. We also make a fair amount of stuff for other people in New York State.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. That was a great little summary there. One of the things that intrigued me that you said, so you were growing corn on your farm, and then you just decided, hey, we can make whiskey out of this as well. So that's pretty interesting.
It's certainly more profitable than farming,
Yes.
and tastes a lot better than corn.
Absolutely.
So we still grow corn on the property. I think last year we get between 10 and 12 tons from what we grow here. All of our grains are from New York. So if it doesn't come from here, we only do corn here. We're getting it from farms within 10 miles. But we go through about 4,000 pounds of grain a day. So what we grow on property, we burn through pretty quick.
Yeah. So with the grain that you guys grow on property, is that like a special release bottling or something that you do just to showcase the grain that you have on site?
No, we mix it. There's a little bit of grain in a little bit of our property stuff in everything we do.
Oh, okay.
But nothing special with a certain run, just from property grain.
Okay. Okay. And you're only doing corn. You're not doing the barley or wheat or anything like that?
No, at some point we'll probably start rotating the fields. We need to start working on that and put down. So I don't know what we'll grow next year, but we'll put a winter wheat in next fall.
Okay.
Because the corn really hammers the soil, and we need to get better at managing that.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Corn can be a tough crop if you want something else in there, because it just kind of takes over and messes with the soil quite a bit. So how is the climate up? Being in New York State, the climate must affect your barrels, all of that stuff. What do you do to kind of, do you have a climate controlled warehouse, or you just leave it to the elements?
Now, nothing is climate controlled. We have a rick house that is attached to the distillery. We also built an additional, so that one I think can take 400 barrels, like a traditional rick. And then we built another one a couple years ago that takes 2,500 barrels, and that is full.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's more of Home Depot racking with 4x4s.
Hmm.
So it's a lot more efficient and certainly was a lot cheaper because during COVID, lumber prices got crazy.
Yes.
The third rick house that we just started to fill can take 6,000 barrels. I also have 12 shipping containers, which we used initially
Mhm.
because we didn't have the huge building until 2016. So for the first couple of years, we immediately ran out of space, got shipping containers, and I think it's a fantastic way to age because not that you can cheat the aging process, but the heat transfer in the shipping containers is the best I've ever seen. I mean, if I were to bring you up and open one of those doors in August, you could not walk 20 feet in that thing. I mean, I mean, the angel share is very, very pungent.
Right, right. That's
Yeah.
that's
In terms of the climate, nothing is climate controlled. All the buildings are dark, a very dark, not red, but kind of not a hunter's green, but a hunter's purple or
mhm,
red, or black. And one
right.
of the guys brought it up on a podcast in terms of the climate here versus Kentucky.
Mhm.
New York, on an annual basis, is 1 degree colder than Kentucky.
What?
So it's kind of a dead heat. Our winters might be colder, our summers might be hotter, but it's only 1 degree difference.
That's crazy. I mean, you would think, I mean, you're not that much further up, but I mean, you would think, I mean, you always hear how it's blistering cold, in New York. So, I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of, that's kind of the thing. So
So,
that's
so
really
I was
interesting.
I was surprised that it was so close.
Yeah,
But
that's,
nothing is climate controlled. The dark the dark coloring and the fact that they're all metal buildings,
mhm.
they retain a tremendous amount of heat.
Right, right. Well, I know for personal experience, I'm in Texas, and so in Central Texas, when they use those shipping containers, they have to actually put airflow fans in them because
Yeah.
they will get too hot and they will start. You will have 70%
Start
angel
popping.
share by the time they'll start
Yeah.
popping and stuff like that. So I'm pretty familiar with the shipping containers, but yeah, the fact that they can hold all that heat in them, it's a pretty amazing thing, and they're fairly cheap. I mean, especially when you're starting out, they're fairly cheap to hold barrels in. So that's a good thing
Yeah,
to
the
have
price
on.
is going up. I think we were buying them on a port, Elizabeth, New Jersey, for at 2,200 delivered for a high cube
Hmm.
40. I think the prices have gone up,
Yeah,
but I can get 66 barrels in one of those. And
yeah.
if I used 4-inch racks, I might even be able to go 3 high.
Wow, wow,
Yeah, but it's
that's
tough to get the
awesome.
4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you in Texas?
I'm in Central Texas. I'm actually about an hour away from Austin.
All right, I was down deer hunting in Laredo all week.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Not close to Laredo. Not close to
Yeah,
Laredo.
in my previous life, I had an office in Austin for 15 years.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
But yeah, I mean, so okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. So I guess let's what is your are you using hybrid still, column still, typical pot still, or a mixture of both, all three?
so when we built the building, we went down to Louisville and met with Vendome. We have a Vendome 30-foot, 12-inch diameter column with a doubler.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we on a 6-hour distillation, we get about 6 53-gallon barrels a day.
Holy guacamole, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for a day's work. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, I mean, some of the big guys, obviously, they're doing, 100 barrels a day or something, or more than that, but
Yeah,
uh,
I mean they're doing a lot.
yeah, yeah. So let's I guess start at the beginning. When you were thinking about doing the whiskey, was it just a means to an end, or were you passionate in whiskey before that, or tell us a little bit about that?
No, I mean, I would, I would say I back then until and up till today. I mean, I'll drink anything. I won't drink scotch anymore now that we have a bourbon distillery,
Okay.
and torture people that drink scotch. But no, so in my previous life, we looked at a business that had an opportunity to do an alcohol angle. So I spent a fair amount of time. This is probably 2012, looking at the alcohol business. We ended up not doing that transaction, but it kind of had me thinking about, okay, this is an interesting business. Um, Three-tier system makes it very, very difficult and painful. And I
Hmm.
probably wish I'd known more about that 10 years ago. But it was a business opportunity.
Yeah.
And there's a huge I'm 59, turning 60 this year. There's a huge benefit to starting a business when you're older. I mean, you've made a lot of mistakes and hopefully learn from them. The biggest thing I did before we did anything was read a lot of books, not on the chemistry of it, but about the history of bourbon and its relationship to the United States, but also visited. We've done the Bourbon Trail, been to Kentucky, but also visited a lot of smaller mid-tier
Hmm.
guys. And my number one question to people is not what did you do that made it go right, is what were your mistakes? Learn
Yeah.
from your mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, at 50 years old when we started, I've got some money in my bank. I was successful. I was fortunate. And you also have a Rolodex. So you're bringing a lot of life's experiences. Whereas if I was 25 years old, I'd be banging my head against the door.
Yeah.
Not that I'm
Yeah.
not doing it now, but I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to make less expensive mistakes as I get older.
Absolutely. It's always good to have people that you can call on, if even if it's not related to the distillery or anything. Maybe if it's a question about taxes or something like that. You always got somebody you can lean back on when you have that experience. There's a lot of these new and upcoming distilleries that these people are fresh into it. They brewed beer for a couple of years or whatever. They're fresh into it, and then all of a sudden they're like, they have no idea what they're doing. Their stills too small. They can't keep up with production. Like I see it over and over again. And then you get the other ones that they buy a 1,000 liter still, and they think they're going to be able to produce 100 barrels a day, and they don't have the manpower for it or anything like that. So yeah, it's nice to have that Rolodex of people that you can turn to when you really need somebody to help you out on that.
Yeah, we've got a good community. I mean, when we started out, people were very helpful to us. And I'm also, anyone that calls, I'm happy to spend my time with them.
That's cool. Okay, so let's dip into a couple of your offerings that you have. And so you're specifically doing bourbon, that's correct?
We do bourbon and rye, and we did a big run of single malt a couple years ago that's now 4 years old.
Oh, okay, cool, cool.
We
So,
don't, I mean, I don't push that as much, mainly because, we want to be known as bourbon, but we do rye. And then we came out, we've done several batches of a wheated bourbon,
mhm.
kind of swap out the rye for a winter wheat, and then chocolate malt instead of the malted barley.
Wow, wow. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, no, I think, well, it's been like this for a while, but weeded whiskeys are having a resurgence again. And so like there's more and more people out there chasing the weeded bourbons. So yeah, I can see how that would be a good one to, and the bad and good thing about having a whiskey distillery is you have to kind of be ahead of the curve. You got to be like, hey, in 4 or 5 years, we're gonna need to have some rye whiskey out there because there's gonna be people that want it. So that's another thing, is being a little bit ahead of the curve. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our bourbon offerings, not the wheated, are 6 years old, and our rye is 7 years old
Oh,
right
wow.
now. So actually, I put the age statement back on the bottles,
Okay.
either through neckers or stickers.
Okay. And on your rye, what percentage of rye are you putting in it? Is it a all rye, 100% rye, or?
we do kind of, between 90 and 95% rye, and then the rest malted barley,
Okay, okay, okay.
just
So
for
it's
some
it's
natural fermentation.
yeah, so it's gonna have some good spice notes and stuff like that, or it's what some people perceive as spice notes. I get on a lot of the what we call 95 fives or whatever, which the when you talk about them, you're talking about MGP, obviously, but when I have those, I get more of like a spearmint or something like that. So I don't really get that rye characteristic that a lot of people do, but that's just me. So
And then
um,
our bourbon mash bills are 70, 25, 5. So
okay,
still a high rye portion, which I'm a big favorite of.
yeah,
And
yeah,
the rye drinkers like it as well.
yeah. That's and so are you what was I gonna say? So when you are you doing different barrel entry proofs to get different notes? Because I know a lot of the guys in Kentucky and stuff like that, they do low barrel entry proof so that they can get more of the wood sugars and stuff like that. But then here in Texas, we we have to do that as well because we know it's going to spike, and then we'll have hazmat bourbon or whatever out there, which people are all about. But and also you get three bottles out of the barrel, and that's not really profitable. So,
Yeah.
what's your normal barrel entry
No,
proof?
we've since day one we put it in at 125.
Okay, okay, so you're doing just a standard 125. Okay, cool. Yeah, and
And
have
then
you
the,
know?
what'll normal, I mean, I would like, I don't know how long I would have to keep it in one of those containers to get hazmat. Normally we'll put it at 125. Proof drops right away because the moisture in the wood takes
Mhm.
about 4 years in our current situation to get back to entry proof, and then they go up. So I think the
Okay.
highest barrel pick we've done is 129 proof.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. So I mean, you're getting some raise in proof, but you're not getting the 140s and above. So that's good. So what was I gonna say? I forgot what. So are you just with the other corn that you're getting from the other people? Is it just standard yellow dent, or are you using any heirloom corns or anything like that?
We just started playing around the last couple months with some heirloom stuff, but
Mhm.
that won't be available publicly for 4 years.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
it's your normal feed corn,
Okay.
mill it up, get after those starches with some yeast.
All right. That's good. That's good. So it's really interesting. I saw that you guys have a bottled and bond bourbon as well.
Yeah.
And then I saw that I actually have. I meant to get it to show everybody, but I forgot. I have the cast strength version, which I actually
Okay.
found. I actually found here locally, which was kind of amazing to me because I was like, man, you guys got a pretty, like you were talking about distributing earlier. I'm like, man, y'all got a pretty good distributing if y'all can get way over here.
The specs are total wine
I think it was Total
or
Wine.
something else. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And because they're normally pretty good about getting more. I hate to say the word craft. Not big box guys. They're normally pretty good about getting those, but because I was looking for, the those mid what we call mid tier bourbons, because those are the ones I enjoy, and those are the ones I like hearing their story from. Obviously, the big ones, they have a lineage, so that's a little bit different. But
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it's so on your I haven't seen your rye in the store, which that doesn't mean anything to me. But and that single malt is really intriguing. Obviously, I'm a Scotch guy, but I'm actually I drink everything, but Scotch is kind of like my home. So yeah, the single malt's kind of intriguing to me. Is it one of those just God, two row barley, or are you using any adjunct grain in like you said, a
Using
car?
adjunct grain. So technically, it would under the current definitions, it would not be an American single malt. because we use some other stuff in there as well.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's cool. That's
It's
cool.
the people. I mean, we've got some chocolate malt in there, some goodies.
Yeah. Well, and that's all just to tweak out a little bit more flavor because really when you get like distiller's malt or something like that, it's really kind of it doesn't have a whole lot of flavor there. It's really just to create alcohol. I mean, you can, maybe make it work, but it's you really need some of those adjunct like a crystal or a chocolate malt or something like that just to give you a little bit more of that the buttery notes or something like that. So
Yeah,
that's
well,
really
I guess the big benefit of the single malt, the stuff on this side of the ocean versus your traditional single malt, we're using new barrels.
yeah,
So you're going to get a lot of flavor and a lot of color right away.
yeah, yeah. Have you thought about doing any in used barrels or no?
So that we've played around with the finishes. You probably won't see any of those in Texas. I mean, in terms of the bourbon finishes, the one thing that we have that's a big deal is we've got a straight bourbon whiskey that we finish in Japanese Mizunara casks.
Oh wow.
Those are very difficult to get, and we toast them, not char them, so we can use it a couple times.
Hmm.
We've done the straight bourbon in Caribbean rum casks, Cabernet cask, which is our number one finish. We've done port, stout, we've done the rye and Madeira, but a lot of those, in terms of it's a lot of SKUs, it takes up a lot of shelf space.
Hmm.
I would much rather focus on our main products, and I prefer those myself versus all the finishes. But the finishes are becoming a big deal nowadays.
They really are. They really are.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I mean literally everybody's finishing, which is fine. I mean, it does create a good product, and it with some distilleries, yours not included, with some distilleries, it helps to mask the off flavors that they have in their distillate. So that's always nice too. So I've seen that a lot, especially in Texas distilleries. They're doing a lot of finishing because they have young grain with this young bourbon, and they got to get it out of the barrel, and they don't know what else to do with it, so they'll finish it, and it's not really ready. It needs a couple more years, but they got to get it out of the barrel. It's going to get over oaked, so it's just one of those things. But yeah, no, that I think that's going to soon kind of go away. I mean, I don't know this. I'm not on the front lines of all this stuff. I know enough about it, but like I know that like it had a big insurgence and now it's kind of tapering off and people are going back to the the core brands that everybody's out there looking for. So
Yeah, I mean that's
so
you only got so much shelf space, and I would prefer to have that for the core brands instead of rotating your finishes because you get a finish that doesn't sell, the retailer's reluctant to take the next one. So I just prefer your bourbon, your rye, and then we have a double barrel maple bourbon, which is our number one barrel pick and a huge seller for us.
oh wow. Wow.
Those are the three SKUs that we wanna have those in as many retailers as possible.
Right. Right. And so you're saying that like you were talking about earlier with your with your outreach, you want to try and maybe stay on the East Coast a little more, because once you get to Washington or Oregon, you sell a couple of a pallet or whatever, and then they're pretty much done with you. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, it's also I mean, pretty much not the entire East Coast, but call it, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts. That's the biggest market in the world.
Yeah.
And I could drive all those places in a day. So I always say the next four salespeople I would have would be in that market. The next biggest market, you're talking Southern California, and you got to get on planes, this and that. And I just want to stay in markets where we can kind of have that protractor effect,
Yeah.
where once you build your brand, the next state, all contiguous states, versus jumping all around.
Absolutely. Yeah. You got to kind of have a you really got to have a good reason to go all the way to California just to sell a couple cases of whiskey. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah,
Well,
that makes
you can
sense.
sell it, but it's difficult to work that market. We don't have enough people or enough
Right.
of a ad budget to work those markets. So I'd much rather work the markets. And if someone comes here from New Jersey, they can buy in their home state. Someone comes from Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, it's in their home state.
Right.
Someone comes here from, Chicago, we're not in Illinois.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So tell us a little bit about the distillery, and I'm guessing you have a tasting room and all of that stuff there. Tell us a little bit about that, and if you have any, like, drink. I know you have drink specials, but like, um, do you have like barrels that you have specifically for your bar and stuff like that?
All right, so I'll address that thing. We're on, like I said, we're on 120 acres up here. We have a tasting room and kind of a retail store as part of the distillery. Also, right outside, we've got several picnic areas, patio, fire pits. So in the nicer weather, pretty much the spring, summer, fall, winter it gets a little bit cold. We will have food trucks and live music every weekend.
Oh wow.
So that kind of gets rocking. You can come. I mean, we've got, first of all, the nice thing about this place is we have every single one of our products. So we're always stocked.
Okay.
We got tons of swag. We have a huge bourbon barrel aged maple syrup business.
Okay.
That's where we kind of get the maple bourbon. That is a huge business for us that we kind of lucked into. We do coffee as well, coffee aged in bourbon barrels.
Okay.
We're also allowed to sell anything made in New York State. So I can sell New York State beer, wine, hard cider type of stuff, along with soda and water. Family friendly, dog friendly. The cocktails that we do a lot of are a maple old fashioned, a rye Manhattan, and then we will do Negronis and stuff. But those are
Yeah.
the two big cocktails that we go through. Our number one cocktail is the maple old fashioned.
I
Huge.
I can bet. I can bet. It sounds amazing just hearing about it. So I love it. I love a good old fashioned. So
In the summer, we'll do rum old fashions. So we have
oh, okay.
we get rum out of Florida, bring it up here, age it in our bourbon barrels for 4 years. And the summer we'll do rum Negronis and rum old fashions. If you haven't had a rum old fashioned, try it with
Wow.
like a
Okay.
Mount Gay type thing, not too
Uh-huh.
dark,
Oh yeah.
not like that. They're fantastic.
Huh.
So
Okay.
that way you can drink brown liquor all year round.
There you go. There you go. I mean, I do that anyway, so it's not a big deal. But okay. Wow.
I would say that pre-COVID, we did a lot of tastings. During COVID, everyone went to cocktails and it's never turned back.
Yep. Yep. So do you do tours and stuff at the distillery as well?
So the tours, I mean, if somebody wants to book it, first of all, I tell people the time you want to see it is when it's working.
Hmm.
All right. So on Saturday and the weekends, we're not running. You can, if it's not busy, you can kind of walk around. Someone will give you a little tour. You can sign a barrel. But if someone ever wants to come and spend an hour, I prefer that they call and do it that way and see it in operation, as opposed to this is what happens here. This is what happens here. They can taste the white dog. They can see how the whole thing working. And we cook and distill 5 days a week.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's all. And so in your distilling department, because I know you probably have a marketing team and a front of house and all of that other stuff. In your distilling department, how many people do you have back there in the back?
4.
Four. Really? Okay. And they're able to pump out that much whiskey. That's pretty awesome. That's a
Yeah.
well-oiled machine right there. That's
And
crazy.
everyone and all the guys know how to run everything, which is a huge benefit.
That's a big deal. So
But
if
I
one
will
guy's
tell you,
out,
in
yeah.
distillation, I joke with the guys. I say, I don't pay you to distill, I pay you to fix problems.
That's, yep, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. The still runs itself. You just got to watch it and then fix
Yeah,
whatever's wrong with it.
and this is always this time of year. You always got to watch out because I mean you got water coming in, water going out, steam coming in, all that stuff. So when you get the extreme temperatures up here, we always got to be wary of that. I mean everything's running, but you get a crazy cold, I'll go in there and guys are thawing stuff out. That's where you got to watch out for.
Yeah, that's not what you want to do first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
Is thaw the pipes out.
the cooling tower looks like a frozen waterfall some days when you get the cold weather.
That's not good either. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's
And then
crazy.
what we do with, I said we go through about 4,000 pounds of grain a day. We've got a separator where we separate the grain. It comes out looking like a wet sawdust, and then the water goes into a different vessel, and we feed 200 beef cows a day
Oh,
with
wow.
that spent mash.
So you don't distill on the grain?
No,
Or
we do.
you do. Okay. Okay. That's coming
Yeah,
off the still. Sorry.
yeah,
Got
yeah.
it.
So
Got it.
we're running that mash down. It looks like oatmeal. We'll run it down,
Mhm.
taking the alcohol out. The spent grain is getting separated from the water, and it looks like it does look like a wet sawdust.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
that's
the animals love it.
yeah. It's easier for them to eat. It's broken down already. It's a little sweet. Why wouldn't they love it, right?
They
And
love it.
you got it, you got enough there to make everybody happy. So, and I'm sure the cattle ranchers or whoever's taking it, I'm sure they're more than happy to take it off your hands, and you need to get rid of it anyway, so why
Yep,
not?
yep.
And
And we
maybe,
have we don't have to worry about getting meat.
yeah, that's the other thing I was gonna say. You ain't gotta worry about finding a cow if you need one. That's
Yep,
funny.
exactly.
Yeah, that's funny.
No
Okay.
barter.
Yeah. Bartering's a big deal. It's a big deal. Helping everybody out. All right. Well, I can't think of any other questions that I had. I'm trying to think real fast. Sorry, sometimes my head's still going through this. My head kind of blanks out on me. There was one other thing I was going to ask you, and I totally forgot what it was. Okay, so before we go, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, a website, or if you're on Instagram, Facebook, whatever,
Okay.
let them know that, and then I'll try and remember my question.
Okay. Yeah. So on Instagram, we're on Instagram under Taconic underscore distillery, and then on Facebook, Taconic Distillery. In terms of where to buy it, the easiest, instead of trying to give states and distributors, although that is on our website, is you can buy direct off of our website any of our products. We've
Oh,
got a
really?
retailer that ships. I don't know what the number is. It's not all 50, but ships anywhere
Okay,
um,
cool. Cool.
within a couple days. So that has been a huge benefit to our business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I remember what I was going to say, so I'm glad we got through that part. Now everybody has that. Where's the name Taconic come from?
So it takes the name from geography up here. So
Okay.
there's a north-south parkway that goes up to Massachusetts that is called the Taconic State Parkway. It is the most dangerous road to drive on in New York and the most expensive because the people get a lot of tickets. But it's very, very windy. No lights or anything. But it's also there's the Taconic State. There are the mountains. There's the lake, and it's also, if you spell it funny, it's an old Indian name from up here.
Okay.
So when we started, we want to kind of have the geography of New York,
Awesome. Awesome.
and that's how we came up with the name.
And you have what is it, a bird dog on the
American Foxhound.
foxhound? Okay. Okay. I knew it was something like that. And so you guys, if you'll see, when you see it in the store, you'll know exactly what you're looking at. So, all right. I think that's it. unless you have anything else.
Now, listen, I appreciate you making time in your schedule to get me
No.
on.
No, I appreciate you answering all the 500 emails that I sent you. So I appreciate that. And yeah, just keep me posted on all the new stuff you guys got coming out, and we'll go from there. And stick on real fast. I want to talk to you, but yeah. So hopefully you guys like this, and you know what I say. As always, keep your spirits up.